When I interviewed Hunter Biden on my podcast Back from Broken a few years ago, he told me this incredible story of when his family tried to stage an intervention for him. He'd been doing drugs, very heavy drugs. He's a crack cocaine addict. I'm a crack cocaine addict as well. And his parents invited him over for a family dinner, but it turned out to be an intervention. And he got there and he saw everyone in the circle and he knew exactly what was up. And he stormed out of the room. He tells me that when he got to the parking lot and he was about to put the keys in his car, his dad stops him, puts his hand on his shoulder, turns him around, wraps his arms around him, and says, "Son, I don't know how to help you. Please tell me how to help you." This is the President of the United States and all of his resources dealing with something that your average American father can relate to. And that is a son who is struggling with addiction and a father who is helpless in trying to help his son. And today, President Biden pardoned Hunter Biden. I know that's going to be controversial, and I know all the people on the right are going through the roof, and even some people who might be Biden supporters are saying, wow, he went back on his word, saying he never would pardon Hunter. But what Joe Biden did here is something that any father would do for their son if they had the opportunity. You mean to tell me if you weren't a father who raised your son, who held your son in his hands when he was a little baby, when he was born, who has seen his son go up and down in life, all the victories and all the defeats, but then has seen his son struggle with an addiction that is merciless. Once it gets its grips in you, it is fucking merciless. Addiction is not something I would wish on anyone. If I had an enemy, I would not wish my addiction to anyone. Sitting behind dumpsters and smoking crack until 5 a.m. Getting my ass beaten by a drug dealer who I owed hundreds of dollars to. And then asking him for drugs again, right? Constantly evading police, constantly getting in trouble with your friends and family and losing relationships and the financial problems and the health problems, right? Addiction is not a fucking Disney movie. It's a living hell, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. And you mean to tell me that if you were a father and you were in Joe Biden's position to do something for your son, that you wouldn't do it? I ain't buying it. I ain't buying it. Because any average American father would do the same for their son. And that's exactly what Joe Biden is doing. And by the way, through all the merciless attacks that the right has thrown at Hunter, he's been sober all through it for more than 5 years. Say what you want about the shit that he pulled. Hunter did not do very good stuff at all, right? Okay, I'm not saying he was a saint, but guess what? When you're struggling with drugs and alcohol, you don't act like a saint. When that disease gets a hold of you, it makes you do things that you wouldn't normally do. Trust me. Trust me when I say that I wouldn't normally sleep on a park bench because I forgot where my house was. Right? I wouldn't normally go confront a drug dealer who had multiple guns in his house to ask him for more cocaine, even though I already owed him hundreds of dollars, right? I wouldn't normally cash out all of my 401k money just to buy more cocaine. These are not normal things to do because addiction is madness. Addiction is maddening. And if you are sitting there judging the president and judging Hunter Biden for what they did, I just have one thing to say. I hope to God, and I mean this sincerely, I hope to God that you never, ever, ever have to experience what it's like for either yourself or someone you love dearly struggle with drugs and alcohol. I mean that sincerely.